What's going on, Jae'sean? Here to be talking about the Houston Rockets and my hot takes for them this season. I do believe they're going to become one of the most interesting and one of the most exciting teams to watch out for this year. So we're going to be breaking down in this video today, and we're going to be talking about where I have them finishing in the standings in the Western Conference. So if you like what you see, drop in below, press the sub button. We do NBA content here, but mostly use the Rockets. Today we got a Rockets video 2 days before the season opener, the regular season opener against the Timberwolves. So I will be watching that game. Probably won't be streaming because I don't think we're gonna win that game, especially with Minnesota being, what they have right now, and with they're pretty young cores. So I pretty much don't have us winning that game, but things can happen. So getting right into the video, talking about my hot takes for the Houston Rockets. Now, I'm not sure if this is a hot take or not, because I think most people have him winning Rookie of the Year. Obviously, Jalen Green, but I have Jalen Green winning Rookie of the Year. I think most Houston Rockets fans do have him winning Rookie of the Year. There are some fans that have Cade Cunningham winning it, and it makes sense because Cade Cunningham went to college, was absolutely amazing. But Jalen Green, I think with this opportunity here in Houston and what he can really provide us and to the team, I think he has a really, really strong case of winning Rookie of the Year. Now, the same thing can be said about Cade Cunningham with his situation there in Detroit, but with the whole Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey, and Cade Cunningham fit, and who's going to be running point guard and shooting guard, it's going to be pretty interesting to see who comes off the bench and who starts. I think Cade Cunningham and Killian Hayes start right beside each other, and then probably Sadiq at the 3. So it's going to become a little bit weird in terms of fit and how Cade Cunningham performs with the Detroit Pistons. But with Jalen Green, him beside KPJ, Jae'Sean Tate, Daniel Tice, and Christian Wood, I think he's going to have way more opportunity to thrive, especially with KPJ and his playmaking ability. So in my opinion, I think Jalen Green wins Rookie of the Year. Not sure if that's really a hot take, but you guys can debate that in the comments. So yeah, Jalen Green, Rookie of the Year. Now, the second hot take, and I know this is such a stretch, but I have Alperen Sengun starting over Daniel Tice at the center position. So I was talking in one of my friends' Discord today, well up, then you guys want to check him out. Hopefully I remember to leave his channel in the description, but I was talking with some people, and they said that Sengun shouldn't start over Tice, and I honestly get the argument that he shouldn't start over Tice. He doesn't have a developed shot yet. He doesn't have the defense that Daniel Tice has, his defensive impact, but I think maybe in the middle of the season to the end of the season, I think Sengun's going to become a very proven rookie this year. And I think he's going to develop a shot at best, maybe a 3-point shot at the minimum around the end of the season, because as of right now, he just has no 3-point shot. Now, if we're talking in terms of driving game and handling the ball, I think he's obviously miles ahead of Daniel Tice. Even though Daniel Tice is, a veteran on the team, he is just 29 years old. So I think his impact on the floor in terms of us wanting to win, I think that's going to become more valuable to us. But if we're talking about the future and what we're really valuing, and if we're, going to be tanking for another top pick and being bad on purpose, I think Alperen Sengun is the way to go. Get his development kick-started and could become, maybe an all-rookie second-team player at least. I'm not really too sure, but in my opinion, I think Alperen Sengun should start over Daniel Tice to get his development started. He is 6'10", 243 pounds, so he can't play the center position. Definitely the second best center in this year's draft. So honestly, Sengun over Daniel Tice, I can see Daniel Tice starting over Alperen Sengun, that argument. But in my opinion, I think Alperen Sengun should start over Daniel Tice. He is younger at just 19 years old too, and he has the potential. Last game, the last preseason game, I think he had dropped 15 and 10, which is absolutely crazy. So Alperen Sengun, my second hot take, he should start over Daniel Tice. Now, the third hot take, and I'm not too sure how you guys feel about this, but I think pretty soon, within the next year or two, we need to move Jae'Sean Tate. So honestly, I think a lot of Houston Rockets fans do love Jae'Sean Tate, and it makes sense because Jae'Sean Tate was absolutely killer last season. He made all-rookie first and was absolutely phenomenal for us. But as of right now, I'm not too sure about how I feel about him. Last season, he did average 11 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Pretty good stats. He is 6'4", 230 pounds, played the power forward and the small forward position for us last season. And he's going to become, that type of player for us moving on. But what worries me is that he is 26 years old, and going into the season, we already do have a lot of small forward players. Well, not really small forward players, but other players that could play the small forward that are almost better than him, or we could get better players at the small forward position that are better than him. Jae'sean Tate, I'm not too sure how I feel about him. His offensive game, it's alright. He has a left hook. He's a left-handed bandit, and if you don't know what that means, he basically just uses his left hand only. But the thing that worries me about Tate especially, is that his three-point shot is just not developing at all. Like, it's really worrying me that he shot 30% from three last season, which in all honesty, it was actually pretty decent, but I'm not too sure how that's gonna hold up, moving on. Because Jae'sean Tate, I think he could become maybe a starting caliber small forward at best that just holds down on defense. But in terms of offense, there's just nothing there. Kind of like Andre Iguodala, but mini and probably worse. So if we can go out, get a Cam Reddish type of player, which I know the Hawks should be shopping this guy. There's just no way they're not shopping him with Jalen Johnson come off the bench. There's just no way that they aren't shopping him. There's no way Cam Reddish fits on the Hawks anymore. And if he is available, I think the Rockets should capitalize on it and try to get him, because I think Cam Reddish is the missing piece that we do need at the small forward position. He can play the small forward, can play some good defense for us, and can shoot the three. So adding in another player that's, I think, is 20 years old. So Cam Reddish would be an absolutely great fit on this roster. Maybe if we give up Eric Gordon or Jae'Sean Tate, I think I would give up a first. It is Cam Reddish. He was one of the top picks, and I forgot what draft he was in, honestly, but he was a top pick and was pretty good last season, especially in the playoffs for the Hawks. So in that one series, so I think it was against the Bucks. I forgot what it was. I'm not too sure. I came into this talking about my hot takes, but yeah, honestly, Jae'Sean Tate, I think within the next 2 years, maybe at tops, I think we should look to shop him and get at least a better small forward for that position. So that's my take for the third one. And probably my final one, it's to keep Stephen Silas. Now, I know how people feel about Silas, and people are saying, no, they're not using Jalen Green right, they're not using Alperen Sengun right. And I got the argument there. I think Silas just needs more time. And I know some people might get mad at me for saying that, but I think he really does need some more time. He was an assistant coach for multiple years, and this is his second season being a head coach. So being in his position right now, I definitely see why people would want to get rid of him. We were absolutely garbage last season. We weren't really using pieces right. Had a lot of different starting lineups, and in the preseason was doing a lot of questionable things. Using Jalen Green pretty differently. Alperen Sengun was used pretty differently, like he used in the summer league. I'm not too sure how I feel about Stephen Silas. I think at tops we give him 2 years. Now that might be a little bit of stretch, but if we are good this season, then I think we definitely are keeping him for the long run. But assuming that we aren't good, then he probably could be gone by the end of the season. But in my opinion, I think we should keep Stephen Silas for at least a little bit. I think all the players like Stephen Silas as a coach, and it just really shows because the chemistry on this team is absolutely great. And in press conferences and interviews, I just think like the players just really like who Stephen Silas is as a coach and as a person. So in terms of record, if we aren't good by the end of the season, then I think Stephen Silas is gone. But if we are good and above 500, then I think we keep him. I think we just roll with him for like a few more years, and then if we aren't at least within contending for a playoff spot, or we aren't contending for a championship, then he probably should be fired. So those are my 4 hot takes for the Houston Rockets this season, and it's looking pretty good for the Rockets. We have a pretty great future. Have a lot of really good young pieces, and all we need to do now is just figure it out. So that's the video. I'm Jae'sean, and I'm out. Peace.